What's up, Notion lovers? Right, let's cover this new feature. They keep pumping these out, so it's really hard to keep up. This one's called Conditional Coloring, and it enables you to add color to your workspace based on certain criteria. So this sort of functionality has been available in lots of other apps like Google Sheets, Microsoft Excel, where you can say, okay, if this row meets a certain condition, then highlight it green, for example. Up until now, you haven't been able to do that in Notion, but now you can. And it's really cool because it extends beyond just the table view. You can go into Kanban board view, you can go into timeline view, calendar view, anywhere and any way that suits the way that you like to work and digest data in Notion. So let's get into it. I've got a few examples I'm really keen to show you. Let's go. So let me show you 5 ways that you can use this in your workspace. We'll start off pretty simple. We're going to go into a recipe collection. You make a bunch of recipes, you want to know which one's your favorite, so you can just quickly look at it and cook it for tonight. So as you can see right here, the way that I would see at a glance if something is my favorite is via this checkbox. You could group it. Okay, there's an argument for that. But look at the enhancement when you start to add conditional coloring. So you come up here to the top right and hit the settings slider, and then you come to this new option, conditional color. Click the blue button to set it up. And all you got to do here is just select the property. So we are going to create a color based on the favorite checkbox. And then this you might be familiar with. It looks a lot like when you use Notion filters. So we're going to say when the favorite is checked, pretty simple. It's going to usually apply a default color for you. That is, in this case, pretty great, but you can feel free to jump in here and change the color. And that's it. Set up. Bish bosh, 2 seconds. And then you can come in here. You don't really have to scan and read any text. You can just see the information in this colorful way. So it's a massive bonus in my opinion. Let's jump into another example, task management. So here we've got a table view, and maybe we want to see again at a glance, what are the overdue tasks? If I did this without conditional coloring, again, I could use some grouping, fair enough, but maybe I don't want to do that. And I would have to come in here and read the due dates, or have a look at maybe some of the statuses. However, we've got that set up. As you can see here, we do have some coloring with the options available to us, like statuses and selects, multi-selects and so on. But it's not as intuitive as this new feature. So we come in here, we click settings. Let's do conditional color, new setting, and we want to condition on the due date. And we're going to say, all right, when the due date is before today, it's going to set a default. We don't want it to be green. We want it to be red. Highlight a little bit of urgency. There you go. At a glance, I can come in and see, okay, these top 4, they need looking at. And I can shout at these assignees, Alex, Jenny, Mike, Sarah, why you're always late with your freaking tasks. Another cool thing with the conditional coloring is you can start to stack conditions. So I can say, you know what? I want the entire row to be red when not only the item is overdue, but also when the priority is high. So I can just see at a glance what I need to tackle. So we can just hit this add another and start to stack. So let's do this by the priority. Again, super intuitive. Let's just say when the priority is high, I also want it to be red. And there you go. 2 extra rows have been filled out. All right, that's task management. Let's jump over to another pretty typical use case, project status board in a Kanban view, or a board view as it's known in Notion. I've been in tech for a long time, so I keep saying Kanban. So you can see we've got to do, in progress, complete, pretty standard. And via the standard property visibility, you might be using this to highlight some information. Like right here, we're highlighting the priority via tab. But I would argue that it's pretty hard to see at a glance. We have a bunch of colors going on here. We've got the color for the background of the column. We've got the color for the status. It's not super intuitive. So I want to make double sure that anything that has a critical priority, it's in red. So let's go through again, conditional color, add the new setting. Let's choose priority and say when the priority is critical, I want you to be red. You can see here by default, it's going to match the option. So when you are selecting a status or a select or a multi-select field, it's going to be smart and look at the color of that option and then apply that by default. So just removing an extra step of legwork for most of these. use cases. And now that we've highlighted it in red, this data right here, it might be redundant. So we can go ahead into the property visibility and take that off, just make it a little bit more streamlined. Financial tracker. Okay, so pretty standard use case here. We've got expenses and income items. So again, we can see by the type, it's not a bad idea, but we want to really hit this home, which type of item this is. So again, we go to conditional coloring, we choose the type property. And again, because it's a select field, it's already looking at the color and just applying a default color, which in this case for me works totally fine. Now, one thing to note here is that the properties supported right now for conditional coloring are limited. So for example, if you wanted to select a formula, you can't. Right here, where it says estimated yearly spend, if I try to add that, it doesn't appear in the options. So that's a little bit of a limitation. There are a few other ones that you can't look at right now. I think the URL, the email, the phone, files, obviously a button, and a couple of the built-in native properties like ID and verification. You can't filter on those yet, but this is just a launch, a V1 of this feature. So maybe in the future, they will add the support for this, which would be awesome, especially formulas. I would love to have formulas in there. So it's a great excuse to hit the subscribe button and stay updated, because as soon as they update this, we'll make a video on it. All right, let's jump into the next example, which is a content planner. So if you're running a business these days, you might want to be pumping out content on YouTube or any other social platform. And a great way to visualize it, in my opinion, is via a timeline. Right here, these numbers are representing the amount of views per video. We might not want to have these numbers. We might want to take them away in the property visibility drop down. Let's get rid of this and instead say, okay, when a video is doing over 10K views, we want that to be highlighted in green or something else. In fact, let's get rid of this property status as well, so it's really clean. Let's go into conditional coloring. Let's set up a filter based on the views. So this is a number, so we get these options available to us, and we're going to say when it's above 10K, make it green. Bosh, there you go. If we were to zoom in a little bit more, maybe by bi-weekly, these are a bit more noticeable, but you can see when it's white, didn't do too well. When it's green, it did pretty well, and we can use this to inform our strategy going forwards. That is the way that I'm currently using the conditional formatting feature in Notion. It just adds an extra layer and enables you to absorb information much more easily. So I highly recommend implementing it into your workspace. Take some of these ideas. If you have other use cases or ideas that you have in mind and are screaming at the screen, then put them in the comments, and I'd love to hear them and chat about them. I'm sure there are a million more use cases here. So such as with everything in Notion, there's just so much to play with. So it's a cool feature. To wrap up, they give you a quicker visual ability to scan and absorb data. Another thing that I would say though is don't go overboard. Like, you don't want to turn your Notion workspace into a rainbow mess. Then you can kind of defeat the purpose of using coloring as an indicator of what's important. So just chill. Just less is more in this regard is my advice. All right, guys, that's all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed those 5 use cases. Like I said before, pop in the comments if you have any more. And if you're interested in working with a team at Team Tyner that lives and breathes Notion daily and can help you with complex or simple operational builds, then don't hesitate to get in touch. There's some information in the description below, and we'd be happy to jump on a call with you and scope out your project. Okay, thanks for your time. Peace. Bye.